This tattered magic book lay on the ground for 20 years, ignored by everyone. Everyone thought it was just a useless old book, but now, people fight tooth and nail over it. Some would rather die than hand it over. Yet no one in this world knows how to use it, or even what it does. All they know is that it's a priceless, mystical magic book. And Aster, who possesses this book, only wants to retire from this life. Aster was a troubleshooter for a prestigious magic family. He grew tired of the power struggles and longed to break free from his chains. One day, a dragon soared freely across the sky. Witnessing this, Aster decided to retire, but because he carried that mystical book, the family refused to let him go. For his freedom, he fled to the outskirts. You're the only one left. Impossible. This isn't the combat power of an ordinary troubleshooter. You've been hiding your strength all along. Aster uses his telekinetic control to lift the pursuer by the throat. Tell me how to use this magic book. I don't know. The pursuer struggles to speak. Fair enough. If even he knew, this book wouldn't have been gathering dust in the basement. Hand over the book now, and I can ask the leader to show mercy. Maybe you can even become a troubleshooter again. Even at death's door, the pursuer can't drop his arrogance. After hearing this, Aster flashes a sinister smile. Guess why I quit? Any last words? Aster gestures to finish him off, but just then, a terrifying killing intent sweeps over, accompanied by crisp yet chilling footsteps. Who could this evil presence be? He turns to see a red-robed mage with a staff teleporting in. What keen perception. Truly the finest troubleshooter. The newcomer is none other than Declan, leader of the City of Magic on the Eastern Continent. If you don't mind, I'd like to take that book from you, and then we can talk about other things. Aster is surprised he came in person. After all these years working under him, this is the first time seeing his face. The Declan family is the most elite magic family on the Eastern Continent. It's said their leader is the most powerful mage in the organization's history. You want to take someone's hard-earned possessions so easily? Utterly shameless. As the words fall, the two are at a standoff. Though Aster speaks tough, inside he's terrified. After all, the continent's strongest mage has an aura that's no joke. Seeing Aster refuse to comply, Fallon grows impatient. Killing you and taking it amounts to the same thing, though your talent is truly remarkable. After watching your fight just now, I can hardly believe we've known each other this long. You, a filthy wanderer from the gray zone, mastered the trash techniques only troubleshooters use, yet possess such high-level skills. With the Declan family as your wings, your future is unimaginable. Come back. Return to my side. Return to the Declan family. Of course, the magic book still needs to be returned. Fine. Aster agrees. Fallon didn't expect these few words to work so well, but the next second, Aster turns serious. However, you'll have to let me take your position. Hearing this, Fallon looks disdainful, as if he doesn't take Aster seriously at all. This infuriates Aster. He clenches his fist, energy crackling in his hand. The next second, the lackey he's holding in midair dies. This is both provocation and declaration of war. As a top mage, how can Fallon tolerate this? Since you don't want to live, I'll grant your wish. He's enraged. But anyone would be furious facing such provocation. Without thinking much, Aster launches the first attack, but Fallon calmly raises his defensive shield. When you're not in the midst of it, you have no idea what's right or wrong. Well, it seems I had too high expectations for you. With that, Fallon shifts from defense to offense. Facing the powerful magic attacks, Aster can't defend at all. He can only fight while retreating. What a madman. Truly the continent's strongest mage. Whether attacking or defending, there's not a single flaw. After a round of this chase and evade combat, Aster is severely wounded. So, it's not too late to change your mind now. Change? I haven't eaten dog food in a long time. No matter how good the food or how luxurious the lodging, to me it's just a prettier kennel. With that, Aster unleashes the strongest attack of his life. However, the massive energy beam hits Fallon's energy shield. Like an egg hitting a rock. Foolish. Let me show you what real power is. As the words fall, lightning suddenly shrouds the sky. The next second, Aster's world turns gray. He has no strength left to fight back, slumping weakly against a rock. Still not dead? So, do you feel the gap now? Can we have a proper talk? What, you still want me to go back and be a troubleshooter again? I never said that. I just want you to become the leader of the Bonson family. What? Leader of a family? Aster's eyes widen. Declan is the greatest magic family on the Eastern Continent, powerful enough to challenge the throne. The Bonson family is one of their vassal families. So that's your real purpose. No. I also want your book. As the words fall, Aster slowly extends the magic book. Good. You will become Declan's glory. Before he can finish, the magic book is enveloped in purple light. What are you doing? I can give it to you, if you don't mind it being burned to ashes. You never will. Just die already. Shut up and listen to me. Aster interrupts him. I never did this for money. There's not much money in it anyway. Have you ever heard the story of troubleshooters being devoured by Declan's young disciples? Forbidden magic. Yes, that bastard devoured my teammates and Declan covered it up. So you want revenge? Revenge? Ridiculous. Why would I do that? I know very well that troubleshooters' lives are cheap. My teammates too. I just think I should make sure they got what they wanted. But that requires enormous resources. And I've already decided to quit being a troubleshooter. Think of this as my last words. After hearing this, Fallon turns and snaps his fingers. A ball of blue flames instantly surrounds Aster. This is Declan's blue flame, a fire that never extinguishes. Burn in there, and with every fiber of your body, regret your choice. Regret? If the only choice is to become Declan's dog, I'd rather go back to the gray zone. If I can't do that, then death might be a release. And I've never felt so clear-headed. I can almost see rebirth, because from now on, I, Aster, will no longer be bound. Just as he passionately prepares to embrace death, the fire on his body begins to stop burning, and starts gathering toward the magic book in his hand. Then a golden magic circle appears on his chest. What's happening? As the golden circle grows more and more blinding, after a flash of golden light, Aster finds himself on an old street. He's on his knees, hands on the ground, with a torn bag in front of him. This familiar feeling. Isn't this the gray zone from his childhood? And his body has gotten smaller too. Have I traveled back in time? In disbelief, he walks to the riverside. It really really is his childhood appearance, and the river's pungent stench is incredibly real. This isn't a dream. Was it because of that magic circle? Can that magic book really unleash this kind of power? There's no way to know. After all, the world knows so little about it. But if it could make that lazy Declan family leader come in person, that proves its importance. Wait, a flash of inspiration hits Aster. He seems to realize something. Since this is the past, that means I know everything about the future. Then that dream I had, it turns out Aster always had a dream to open a huge library after retirement, so everyone can access knowledge, and put Declan's advanced secret manuals in the most prominent spot at the library entrance. Because in the past, Aster and the others in the gray zone had nothing, going hungry and cold every day. He understood that was due to lack of education. Just as he's dreaming about the future, a lightning kick lands squarely on his face. Knocked to the ground, Aster is confused. Who is this guy? Why attack me on sight? I can't take this. He catches the incoming foot with one hand and throws a right hook at the opponent's chin. Immediately he realizes he's the one who got hurt because his current body is too weak. Before he can think more, a heavy punch lands on his face, followed by a combat combo. Aster feels a bit sad getting beaten. Do I have to be bullied again even with a second chance? Fortunately, the thug's foot slips while fighting, and he tumbles headfirst into the river. Seeing this, Aster thinks my chance has come. Watching the thug just climbing out of the water, he takes off running. You just wait! This isn't running away, it's a tactical retreat. The next day, Aster's hand is swollen. Just as he's thinking about how to condition this body, a white-haired boy with red eyes walks over. Through conversation, he learns the boy is named Damien. Judging by his clothing, Aster guesses he's probably some noble who fell out of favor due to power struggles and went a bit mad. In other words, this could be trouble. So Aster decides it's better to avoid complications. But just as he's planning how to shake him off, Damien reaches his hand toward him. Then a green energy circle appears in his palm. This is advanced magic of the Brando family, called Healing Light. His years of troubleshooter experience tell him he's really gotten into trouble this time, but he still doesn't understand. Why would a Brando child appear in the gray zone? Logically, the Brando's power is still quite strong right now, but just as he wants to ask clearly, Damien's different colored eyes make him instantly think of something. This guy is the immortal killer, known as the Brando monster, Damien Brando. But even so, why would a direct descendant of the Brando family appear in this shabby place? Are you hungry? Let's go eat together. Mom said if you want to stay healthy, you have to eat well. Do you have any money? Is this it? Damien pulls out a bag of gold coins. Seeing this, Aster immediately changes his attitude. Damien, we're friends, right? Friends should share what they have with each other. Now let's go eat together. Then what will you share with me? This, Aster feels a bit awkward. You can say you have a good friend. That's a pretty cool thing to say. And just like that, Aster quickly fills his belly. They arrive at an inn. While making the bed, Aster asks about Damien's mother. But when Damien hears mother, he seems panicked. Aster asks how long he's been here, and he answers incoherently. Aster breaks down. Is he really mentally ill? But he quickly calms down. I'll take him with me for now. I need to attach myself to some family power anyway. The Brando family should have plenty of advanced books, but the priority now is to deal with yesterday's matter. Thinking this, he sits up. Damien, I'm going to close my eyes and rest now. Don't disturb me, or there will be consequences. I'll take you out for fun after I wake up. After instructing him, he closes his eyes and begins practicing the breathing technique. This is a secret manual he stole while moving through various magic families in his past life. All his skills came from this. He nearly died several times in the process. As the technique circulates, his body begins to burn unbearably. Impurities within start being expelled. This confuses him. Isn't this an effect that only direct family bloodlines can achieve? Soon the impurities on his body are completely cleared, and his physical strength rises several levels. His mana becomes purer, even much purer than in his past life. But even so, even living 100 times over, he still couldn't beat that person. Still, the odds of successful revenge have increased a bit. The next day, Aster dresses Damien up as a brown-haired trainee with center-parted hair and overalls to disguise him. The scene shifts. The two arrive on the street and find the person who kicked him last time. This time, without a word, he goes up and lands a heavy punch. So, did you enjoy beating me up last time? However, the sound of fighting quickly catches his companion's attention. They swiftly surround them. Everyone's here? Perfect. I'll deal with you all at once. Using mana, clenching his fist, rapid consecutive punches. 1, 2, 3. Aster swiftly weaves through the crowd. Damien on the side instantly becomes a fanboy, cheering him on while casting healing light on the injured, so Aster can beat them to his heart's content. Their twisted playstyle, one beats, one heals, leaving the thugs with no will to live. Left with no choice, they line up to surrender. Aster is very satisfied with his mana distribution. Soon he dismisses everyone. Just then, Aster senses something, rushing rapidly toward him. Pursuers? How did they find me? What do I do? I just finished a fight. My stamina and mana haven't recovered. I'll have to use that move. Compress the magic. Compress it again. This should be enough. He crouches down, takes aim in the direction of the approaching figure. Who knew the next second, the newcomer kneels directly before him. What's going on? Damien is so startled he screams. Turns out this person is Alfred, the Brando butler. He came to find Damien. Thank goodness. I finally found you, young master. I'm not going back with you. Damien struggles constantly, but he's quickly restrained and picked up by the butler. I'm the Brando family butler. My name is Alfred. I'm Aster. The young master seems to like you. Why don't you come back with us? To the Brando family? The butler shows a bizarre expression, as if plotting something, but it doesn't matter. I was looking to establish ties with the Brando family family anyway. Besides, the Brando's location is right on the path to the city, and they reportedly have the largest library on the eastern continent. This all fits my plan. And so, they soon ride a carriage back to Brando. As soon as they get off, the butler instructs the maid beside him. "The young master is in your hands, Lancey." "Yes, young master Damien, please come with me." But Damien seems terrified of her. "Lancey, I was wrong!" Damien's shouts echo through the courtyard. After settling the young master and Aster, the butler walks through the corridor. But as soon as he enters, he's met with a magic explosion. "How is Damien? If anything happened to my son?" a red-haired woman shouts furiously. "My lady, please calm down. Listen to me." After hearing the butler's report, the red-haired woman finally withdraws her magic. She is Damien's mother, the red-haired beauty known as the Blood Witch. "In any case, thank you for your hard work. Thank goodness nothing happened. No, this is my duty. But we need to pay attention to that friend the young master met outside." "You mean that child named Aster?" "Yes. He actually detected me. He was even preparing to counterattack before I revealed myself. When I approached him, he had already formed a mana bullet in his hand. That's truly astonishing ability. A child from the gray zone with such high magical talent. So, my lady, please grant me one thing." Early the next morning, the butler excitedly comes to find Aster. "Please become my successor." After saying this, he immerses himself in his own world. Surprised, right? You definitely can't refuse. This is what so many gray zone children dream of. This is a chance to change a life of poverty. But Aster's refusal shatters his fantasy. Aster doesn't understand. Has the butler misunderstood something? Just then, Damien happens to come looking for Aster. Aster quickly covers Damien's mouth, afraid he'll say something nonsensical. "Thank you very much for considering me as Master Butler's successor, but I prefer to keep things as they are." The butler is puzzled and begins a series of assumptions. "I understand. He was born in the gray zone with nothing, learned magic through his own talent, so he's become a bit arrogant and self-satisfied." After guessing, the butler still won't give up. "Child, this world is vast. Though you're talented, don't think you can conquer the world with that alone. Have you heard of canyon dwarves? They only grow up in canyons, so they don't know the dangers outside. But I think I'm more like a dragon." The butler is so frustrated by Aster's answer, he short-circuits. He decides to show him there's always someone better. Soon the butler brings Aster to a training room. "See that? What do you think now? This is the Brando family? Unbelievable. They're already well-trained in their teens. Their auras, though subtle, permeate the entire space. They're indeed quite good. So will you accept my proposal? If you do, you'll shine like these children. No, you'll be more brilliant than anyone. I hate this kind of dazzling aura." Aster still turns away in refusal. At this moment, a student suddenly steps forward. He's clearly dissatisfied with the butler's high praise of Aster. "Butler, he doesn't understand the gap between us. He won't agree to you." Aster looks somewhat disdainful, but the butler seems to think he has a point. "Do you want to duel with him?" The butler thinks for a moment, asking Aster beside him. "What do you think? A simple sparring match with that student?" Aster understands they're jealous. "Can I choose my opponents?" "Of course. You, and you. Come at me together." At first, the butler is somewhat shocked, but on second thought, this is what a successor should be like. "Child, can you take responsibility for those words? Some might say you're insulting the Brando family." "Yes, I'll take full responsibility for all consequences." "Good. 1 minute. If you can last 1 minute, I'll give you a gift. But if you can't, I'll hold you accountable." He keeps emphasizing responsibility. He's testing my sense of responsibility. This old man is still trying to recruit me. Before he can think more, the butler already announces the match is about to begin. Is this really okay? He's the young master's good friend. If something goes wrong, my career is over. The coach on the side is very worried. Seeing the butler say nothing, he goes to Damien's side, who's watching. "Young master, your friend is in great danger. Quickly ask the butler to stop the match." Who knew Damien would say he's also looking forward to this match? Helpless, the coach completely loses heart. Lancey on the side doesn't forget to remind Damien. "Young master, if you get involved, my lady will be angry. I'm going out for a bit. Don't run around." Hearing Lancey is leaving, Damien can't stop grinning. Soon the coach steps up to announce the rules. The match format is free-for-all. The duel continues until one side surrenders. The coach can stop the match at any time. Remember that. Before the words finish falling, both sides are already facing off. With the coach's command, Aster's first strike hits home. The opponent has no time to react, saliva flying out. More terrifying still, when he turns to look, all his teammates are down on the ground. When he looks back at Aster, Aster is already holding 5 mana bullets. This shocks the challenger immensely. Mana bullets? How is this possible? Though this is basic mana control, the mana consumption is enormous. How could this be achieved in actual combat? Before he can recover from his shock, Aster pushes his palm forward. 5 bullets hit them right between the eyes. Never underestimate others. Never bully the weak, because this world is truly vast. Understand? You madman. This isn't magic at all. This is magic. Watching all this, the butler falls into thought. If that attack had hit me, the consequences would be unthinkable. This is truly astonishing magic control. And more importantly, why is he so good at hitting people? However, a sharp rebuke interrupts them. The newcomer is Lady Garmo. Seeing the lady and Lancey appear together, the coach instantly tears up. "Thank you, Miss Lancey, for saving my life." Turns out Lancey went out to report to the lady. "What's going on?" the lady asks the butler. "I was just conducting a simple little test." "A test? You call this a test?" Damien on the side tries to sneak away but is still caught. Alfred dismissed the students first. "Damien, go back to your room for now. Aster, you too. Please return to your room. Training coach, you're fired." "What?" The coach looks innocent. Back in the office, the lady lectures the butler. "I know your intentions, but this time you went too far. I'm sorry, my lady. I know I was wrong. I'll accept any punishment." "Alright, let's get to the point. Did Damien participate in today's sparring match with Aster?" "No, but that Aster fellow is just too good at hitting people. And the mana bullet I mentioned before, he used it in the match today. But this time he compressed it at least 4 to 5 times, increasing its power. anymore. That means his mana control is extremely excellent. Too bad I didn't see it, but he single-handedly defeated 5 trainees using just 1 mana bullet. You know, no matter how powerful a mage is, mastering pure mana is extremely difficult. And your proposal? He refused. I understand. Go get Aster. I have something to say to him. Soon the butler brings Aster over. The lady and Damien sit warmly in the living room. Then she hands Aster a box, saying it's the gift the butler promised him. Open it and take a look. See if you like it. As soon as Aster opens the box, golden light flashes. Inside is actually a high-grade elixir. Even in Brando, only the top 5 of the Mage Corps can obtain this. However, Aster knows very well that giving such a valuable gift so easily means there's definitely a catch. And the lady seems to see Aster's worry. You can accept it with confidence. You helped Damien before in the gray zone. And about what happened today, we're very sorry. Consider it a small compensation. After hearing this, Aster is still uneasy. If I take this, do I have to join Brando? No need. Really no conditions at all? Yes, absolutely none. Then I'll gladly accept this gift. Aster's eyes gleam, immersed in the joy of receiving the gift. However, I have a proposal. The lady's words instantly clear his gaze. I knew it. Aster, I want you to go to school with Damien for training. Are you willing? He was supposed to go last year, but he kept throwing tantrums and refused, so it was delayed until this year. I didn't expect him to even sneak away from home. Since Damien likes you, with you accompanying him, he should be willing to go. Damien on the side keeps nodding eagerly. This makes sense. This is a big deal for Damien. She's afraid if she forces him to go to school again, he'll still sneak away. And currently there's no other way to make Damien change his mind. This is also good for me. After all, it's a decent academy. In a world driven by bloodlines and connections, establishing academic ties will be very helpful. But though it sounds good, it feels like being put on a leash. Aster goes through a series of thoughts and finally says he'll go back and think about it. Finally, out of curiosity, the lady asks why Aster rejected Alfred. Because my knees are precious. The lady looks completely puzzled. The butler eavesdropping outside is stunned speechless. Turns out Aster was afraid that becoming a butler would require frequent kneeling. Back in his room, Aster wastes no time taking the elixir. However, the elixir's effects leave him in disbelief. Just absorbing 10% multiplies his mana several times over. But usually absorbing this type of elixir comes with certain side effects, yet this one has none. Is it because of my ember constitution? This makes Aster decide to agree to the lady's proposal to go to the academy. After all, this way he can find partners. But he still feels like this is a trap. Just as he's thinking, a sound from outside the door catches his attention, so he goes outside. So you're that guy called Aster? He turns to see a platinum-haired guy leaning against the wall. That hair color. But isn't Damien the only direct bloodline? Could he be a collateral relative? Why are this family's relationships so complicated? I'm not. Dull gray-brown hair, those annoying eyes. All the features match. And you say you're not? Hair color appears different depending on the lighting. And look at my eyes. How can you say they're annoying? The white-haired guy is left speechless. After apologizing, he turns to leave. But just then, the butler suddenly slides in on his knees. Aster, wait. Let me clear up your misunderstanding about me. I couldn't talk to you last night. I didn't sleep well all night. Even if you become a butler, you don't have to kneel like me. This is my habit. So this is a misunderstanding. But before Aster can speak, the white-haired guy who is about to leave turns back and points at him. Damn it, you still say it's not you? You dare lie to me. Before he finishes speaking, the butler's stern expression beside him scares him off. I'm letting you go now, but you'll come find me at the magic hall later. I'll correct that attitude of yours. With that, he turns and leaves. What happened? The butler asks curiously. Nothing. But Aster looks thoughtfully at the white-haired guy's departing figure. Oh right, can I see the lady? Soon Aster arrives at the lady's office. Then tells her his decision to go to school and leaves. And the butler, who enters afterward, upon learning Aster decided to go to school, gets so excited his eyes gleam. This means he still has a chance, because the lady is only covering his first semester's expenses. Then he'll be worrying about expenses for the second semester. That's when the butler appears as a savior. Then he'll be too embarrassed to refuse again. Alfred, you're too loud. However, after the butler leaves, the lady falls into thought again. This academy proposal is truly a plan full of loopholes. But fortunately, he agreed. On the other side, Aster also arrives at the magic hall. Led by a guard, he arrives at a door. The guard reminds him to watch his head going in. Aster doesn't pay much attention. Who knew that as soon as he pushes the door open, a pile of dusty scrap paper falls on his head. When he comes to his senses, a figure holding a candle walks over. Nice to meet you. You're here to see my brother, right? Good luck. Aster arrives at the magic hall as invited. He meets a young man carrying a lantern. First, I need to apologize. He's the youngest in our family, so we've spoiled him terribly. But I never imagined he would treat the young master's guests so rudely. Aster didn't expect this person to be so refined, completely opposite from that other guy. You work at the Magic Research Institute, right? Yes, I currently serve as deputy director. Hearing this, Aster is surprised again. So young, yet already deputy director. A noble family like Brando wouldn't appoint a deputy based solely on bloodline. This means he has the skills to match. Aster, you're special. You're different from the typical gray zone wanderers. Haha, is that so? Aster replies with a laugh. The deputy director falls into thought instead. Damn, if he had come in with his guard up, this would be much easier. Yet he doesn't seem cautious at all. Instead, he wears a friendly smile. You've been invited to enroll at Zeny Academy, right? Congratulations, it's a wonderful opportunity. After all, there's so much to learn at this age. Actually, I'm also a graduate of this academy. Hearing this, Aster thinks to himself, is he already trying to build rapport? The deputy director seems to notice this too, and quickly scratches his head apologetically. I got a bit excited hearing about your academy enrollment. Then he sets down his cup. Let's get straight to the point then. Would you risk your life for a friend? The fate of the Brando family hangs in the balance. If you can do this, I'll give you this book. As he speaks, he pulls out a book radiating golden light from his chest. This is the Brando family's core secret technique, the Healing Light Manual. Meanwhile, Lady Garmo is tending to her back garden. Damien's enrollment at the academy has been giving her a massive headache. Fortunately, things have been handled smoothly this time. No problems have occurred. At least this gives her one less thing to worry about. That boy Aster is truly a good friend. His talent is quite impressive, and his personality. According to Alfred, he can be somewhat reckless at times, but everyone is like that at his age. But what I appreciate most is that even knowing Damien's background, his attitude shows no trace of pretense. He's special. That's why he's worth getting close to. But he's unrestrained like a free bird. Keeping him around will be difficult. I need to think of other ways. For Damien's sake, I can't let such a talent slip away. Back at the magic hall, Aster clearly understands. Offering such a generous reward, the motive behind it must be more than this. His clear, transparent eyes make them impossible to read. Whether good or evil, emotions should show in a person's eyes. But he's like an assassin, revealing no emotion at all. In other words, he's like someone wearing a mask, not even feeling himself. Seeing that Aster doesn't speak, the deputy director continues. I'm not just saying this casually, and you don't need to answer right away. Think it through first. No need. I refuse. After speaking, Aster crosses his legs. We're the same kind of people, so there's no need to be so formal. If you have something else to say, tell me. If it seems doable, I'll do it. If not, I won't. Just hearing it could endanger your life. If you refuse after hearing it, I might have to kill you, Aster. The deputy director suddenly switches to a serious expression. Then kill me. Aster doesn't back down either. Who knew that the moment he finishes speaking, the deputy director releases an intense aura. A fierce wind instantly whips up around them. However, Aster doesn't take it seriously, sitting calmly in his chair. Seeing this, the deputy director withdraws his aura. All right, Aster, you've passed the test. The truth is, I just want to find someone trustworthy, and this person can't be from Brando. Hearing this, Aster is speechless, thinking to himself that he almost had to use his trump card. Honestly, I didn't have high expectations. Gray Zone wanderers are all the same, and the young master is too young. He can't distinguish good people from bad, but for the lady who loves the young master dearly, leaving a Gray Zone wanderer by his side simply won't do. But then my younger brother had that conflict with the guest. Is that all? Aster, growing impatient, cuts him off directly. Well, these were all just excuses for me to meet you. Using his own brother as a pawn, this person is a bit too ruthless. In fact, I'm currently being monitored by the Declan family. Why? Since you say you're not afraid of death, I'll tell you everything honestly. I'm researching the Declan family's celestial origin technique, but it seems I've been discovered. You should know about the celestial origin technique, right? This is a secret technique that only Declan bloodline members can learn, but I obtained it by chance. Wait, Aster interrupts him again. If Brando researched it, they would naturally research countermeasures, right? You know the Declan people are quite reckless. I've already been exposed. Even as deputy director, they'll kill me. But you see, I just wanted to research countermeasures, but it's already too late. The celestial origin technique is said to be the root of all Declan techniques, a supplementary method for perfecting existing perfect techniques. I can't stop anymore. Aster, you should understand how I feel, right? This is too insane. After speaking, Deputy Director Hinz invites Aster to join his research project. After hearing his statement, Aster calculates the timeline and discovers it perfectly matches when the Brando family was wiped out. He instantly understands why Fallon risked his life to attack Brando. It turns out that guy had already seen the potential of the Thousand Rings project. This is also why that guy became so powerful. Aster! Hinz's shout breaks his train of thought. So, have you decided? Aster scratches his head awkwardly. Can you tell me why you chose me? Well, first, I haven't told anyone about the Thousand Rings research, including my family, but it feels like there's a spy planted somewhere, yet I can't find them. If this secret research was exposed, shouldn't you start investigating the people around you, like your secretary? That's impossible. Strictly speaking, this has more to do with acquisition channels. If they trace through the acquisition channels, they'll definitely slip up. That's right, when I realized I was being monitored, I took some measures. After all, I don't want to die yet. Then why don't you just join Declan? They'd certainly welcome you, wouldn't they? Well, I can only say it's for personal reasons. Anyway, Aster, since you have no connection to the Brando family, why don't you consider helping me secretly? Honestly, this is a collaborative research project, but as far as the part I'm responsible for, I can't make any progress. However, I'll ensure you receive your due reward. Please help me deliver this paper to Professor Perrin at Zeny Academy, and then I'll give you the healing light spell. After hearing this, Aster readily agrees. After all, he thinks this is a good opportunity. I accept healing light as risk compensation, but only after the Thousand Rings project is completed can we truly be called partners in this together. What do you think? Either we both win or we get nothing. Hinz understands that Aster wants to share the research results. You're truly shameless. Aster has no extra words. You only need to answer yes or no. Fine, but since you haven't mastered the Thousand Rings project yet, it's useless to you anyway. Once the Thousand Rings project is complete, I'll give it to you. But I also have a condition. Before completing this research paper, you have to follow my arrangements. Fine, that's not difficult. If it's related to the paper, I'll help. By the way, I can't read. Hinz clearly doesn't believe him. Also, is this Perrin person trustworthy? Haha, he's my classmate. From student to professor, we've always been competing for first place. After hearing this, Aster is stunned. One lunatic is already hard enough to deal with. Who knew there'd be another one at the academy? This world is truly insane. Returning home, Aster dumps everything out in one go. As for why there are so many books, it's because Hinz was afraid of being discovered. disappeared, so he used them as camouflage. Among them is also a letter. Opening it, he reads, "Dear Aster, I have selected and packed the essential magic texts you must master in the future. I've already written out a future study plan, so please devote yourself fully to studying and demonstrate your wisdom. Your friend, Brando." Aster looks at all these magic books. The corners of his mouth can't help but curl up. After all, his wish has always been to fill that tower with magic books. This way, more people who can't attend school will have more opportunities to learn. However, this will still require Damien's help. On the other side, Hinz is still reflecting on the day's events. Aster is truly becoming more and more interesting. His eyes show not a trace of fear of death. Does he really think I wouldn't dare kill him? As expected, he's different from the other pigs. It seems he's hiding a lot, but that's also a good thing. This means I've found someone on my level, going in the same direction, and he even wants my work results. This is truly surprising, but can he really not read? Early the next morning, Aster puts on his enrollment uniform and packs his luggage, preparing to depart for the academy. The maid who came to guide him praises him repeatedly. She also tells him he only needs to report to the academy. He and Damien are already exempt from the entrance exam. This is quite normal among wealthy families. You could even call it using connections. Meanwhile, Lady Garmo, leading Damien, has been waiting for quite some time. After all, he won't get in the carriage without seeing Aster. And Aster, about to embark on a new journey, appears especially spirited. Lady Garmo has finally resolved one worry. After all, she doesn't want to experience Damien running away from home again. The butler driving the carriage is the most excited. After all, it's the top academy on the eastern continent. Academy classmates and friends, here I come. Aster and his group are riding in a carriage heading to Zeny Academy. Damien is as happy as a child, and Aster isn't idle either. Along the way, he keeps reading the books Hinz gave him. After reading the books, he realizes that Hinz is undoubtedly a brilliant mage. The basic principles of magic are simple, but the interpretations of them are endless. Take water, for example. For some people, it's just ordinary life-giving water, but for others, it's water of disaster, like a raging flood. Simply put, different perspectives yield different effects. Even when adhering to the same principles, each major family interprets and develops them differently, based on their own perspective. However, he also discovers that Hinz's books are closely connected to Declan's celestial origin technique. Just as he's lost in thought, Damien's shout interrupts him. "Look, we're here. The school is right before us. Is this Zeny Academy? Carriages can't go inside. For this enrollment ceremony, according to the great teachings of the first dean, all students must walk, regardless of their status. Wishing you a pleasant school life and academic success." After speaking, she departs in the carriage. After seeing Lancey off, Damien grabs Aster's arm. "We need to hurry," Lancey said. "If we're late, there might not be seats for the entrance ceremony." Aster is confused. What is he talking about? The entrance ceremony isn't a local theater. Are the seats first come, first served? But he quickly realizes that since Lancey said it, she must have laid the groundwork in advance so Damien wouldn't dawdle. Well, he'll forgive her this time. She may be straightforward, but she's definitely not someone who talks nonsense. Just like that, Aster is dragged into the school by Damien. Arriving at the speech hall, there are clearly very few people here, but Damien is unusually excited. He keeps looking around like someone visiting the city for the first time. To be safe, Aster prepares to take out the notice to verify carefully. The seats are class 3, numbers 11 and 12. At this point, Damien isn't happy. "Can't we sit over there? If we don't go sit now, there won't be any seats left." Seeing this, Aster is confused again. Does this guy seem like someone who doesn't like school? But before he can think further, Damien plops down on the ground, taking a closer look. A burly man appears before them. It turns out there was a collision. "Are you okay?" "I'm fine, I'm not hurt." Standing up, Damien apologizes to the burly man and is about to leave, but the next second the burly man calls out to them. "Hey, look at what you left on my clothes." Aster looks back and sees that Damien's saliva got on his sleeve. This person must be a descendant of some noble family, rather particular about cleanliness. Seeing this, Damien naively tries to wipe it off with saliva, but discovers there's more and more saliva on the sleeve. Seeing this, the burly man's veins instantly bulge. He throws a punch at Damien. Fortunately, Aster reacts in time and blocks his fist with one hand. "And who are you, my friend?" Damien answers first. Aster casually responds, "His friend." "Well, you're quite the good friend. Few people are willing to take a beating for a friend. However, you'll regret that choice today." He had hoped to get along peacefully with his classmates. Now it seems that won't be possible. At this point, the commotion attracts more people's attention. What's going on? Feels like they're about to fight. And who are they? That big guy looks like he's from the Dorampe family, but I've never seen those other two before. The onlookers murmur among themselves. At this moment, a boy with center-parted hair shouts from behind. "Are you guys joking? Don't you see they're about to fight? What are you all doing? Shouldn't we stop them? How did things develop to this point? Quickly spread out. Make some space. That gray-haired kid is a mage. Establish a barrier around them too." People outside the barrier start placing bets on this. "Hickstay, I bet on you. I bet 2 meal tickets. I bet triple." And there are those with sharp eyes betting on Aster's side. Betting on the underdog is the only correct choice. "I'm Hickstay, second son of the Dorampe family. What's your name?" "I don't have a prestigious background like yours. Just think of me as a nobody, not from a noble family. Since you're a mage, a narrow stage like this must be a disadvantage, so I'll let you make the first move." "That doesn't matter. Come attack me. Are you talking so much because you're scared?" Hickstay seems to have been hit where it hurts. He trembles all over but is also angry. "You bastard!" After speaking, he swings his fist at Aster, and Aster dodges with a stylish head tilt. This makes him even angrier. Aster doesn't back down either, swinging his fist. "You got it wrong. It's 2 bastards." Having taken a punch, Hickstay grits his teeth. "Damn it, you're just a small-time mage, yet you dare to be so arrogant." After speaking, he throws a punch, but Aster dodges by stepping aside. "So what?" Aster continues to provoke. spoke, not afraid of escalating things. Seeing the smug expression on his opponent's face, Hickstay thinks he's being looked down on, and anger instantly surges, so he swings his fist at Aster again. For a moment, the clash of their abilities instantly fills the surroundings with dust. The students watching nearby are more excited than ever. Nice job, keep going. But Hickstay, riding high on momentum, soon feels something's off. His fists clearly landed solidly on him, so why isn't there any damage? It's like hitting a sponge. It turns out Aster used clever body movements to deflect much of the attack, similar to redirecting force with minimal effort in martial arts. After a wave of attacks, Aster, completely unharmed, dusts himself off. Hickstay is dumbfounded. His attacks had absolutely no effect. He burns with rage. Refusing to believe it, he launches another attack on Aster, but Aster is now standing frozen in place. It turns out he knows Damien has been continuously healing his opponent. Because Damien understands Aster's strength and fears Aster won't have enough fun fighting, he keeps healing the opponent. And Aster realizes this can't continue, so he must finish him in one move. Then his right hand summons Mana Lightning. This is a technique he created with his companions in the past. It generates energy through the collision of mana particles. Although it requires mana, it belongs neither to martial arts nor magic, merely utilizing the properties of mana. Strictly speaking, this is just a pure technique called collision mode. This punch lands squarely on Hickstay's forehead. The shockwave energy it produces even shatters the barrier that was set up at the beginning. The mage maintaining the barrier is stunned. What kind of power is this? And Hickstay, hit head on, seems frozen in place, not moving at all. As Aster lightly stomps his foot, Hickstay collapses to the ground. Everyone around is stunned. They can't believe this is real. Aster also makes a celebratory gesture. This is my response. Those who initially bet on Aster start cheering. He did it! This is so cool! This is how an underdog victory should look. And those who misjudged are still in disbelief. Is this the kind of power a mage should have? Damien also enters fanboy mode. We won. Yes, we won. But don't suck your fingers anymore. Aster smiles reluctantly. Little does he know, someone in the distance is silently watching him. Who would have thought someone who studies magic would fight like this? Truly unbelievable. This is simply crude. Just as they're about to leave, a rushing voice comes from behind. Move aside, you bastards. Who is fighting at the enrollment ceremony? A person with center-parted bangs is shouting at the crowd. He looks like someone maintaining order. The scene immediately fills with whispers. If you don't disperse, I'll arrest you all. Aster realizes there's going to be trouble, but he's not panicked at all. After all, he's a troubleshooter himself. There are plenty of ways to escape blame, and everyone was enjoying it, so this will be a memorable event. But just as he's thinking about what to do next, Damien excitedly waves at the person and shouts, "It's us!" Seeing Damien's incompetent teammate behavior, Aster's face reads, "Oh my god, that's right, it's us." Then the two of them are called aside for a lecture. But considering they're first-time offenders, and the person who got beaten isn't seriously hurt, it's decided to only give them a warning. After being disciplined, the two return to the enrollment ceremony venue. People around are talking about them. Damien seems to enjoy the feeling of being the center of attention. Aster, on the other hand, is the opposite. He doesn't want excessive attention. After finding their class's seats, Damien happily remarks that there are still seats available. It seems the classmates are quite nice. Then an elderly man stands in front of the crystal microphone. This is the principal of Zeny Academy. The enrollment ceremony is hosted by him. But before long, Damien falls asleep, drooling. Aster has no solution for this. He can only help him wipe away the drool with his own hand. But just then, the speech is interrupted. Someone comes to the principal's side and whispers. After listening, the principal clears his throat. Then he announces that he has urgent matters and needs to leave first. But what could be more important than the enrollment ceremony? Before he can think further, a fierce brown-haired woman loudly announces that she'll be hosting the enrollment ceremony next. Her booming voice startles everyone. Damien also wakes up from his sleep with a start. The woman's name is Jera. She should be a female teacher. She immediately announces the start of the student pledge ceremony. First up is the magic department representative, Dahlia de Deny. She's the third child of the Deny family patriarch. As she walks up to the podium, people below criticize her, speculating that she chose to join the academy because of insufficient skills. But this might be a smokescreen to mislead outsiders. Think about it. If her skills were lacking, would her family let her come out and embarrass herself? Moreover, if the Declan family is the most powerful mage family in the East, then Deny is the second-ranked prestigious family. Among them, Dahlia is gradually becoming the future representative of mages, becoming a Deny of Eternal Tier 2. Her abilities are strong. Aster has received quite a bit of help from her in the past, but they don't get along well with each other, so people call them not very good friends. Seeing that Dahlia has also joined the academy, Aster can barely suppress a smirk. Next, Jera reads out the next person's name for the pledge, but she doesn't mention a surname, so he's probably not a noble. Just like that, Dahlia and Paul, representing their respective departments, finish their pledges and walk down. Along the way, Dahlia glances at Aster. She seems to be making eye contact with Aster. Aster doesn't know what she's trying to express, but perhaps because she's too focused, Dahlia accidentally trips while descending the stage. She falls right at Aster's feet, but Aster doesn't pay attention. He quietly watches the person speaking on stage. That person is Professor Perrin, right? When did he get up there? After his speech, it's revealed that he'll be responsible for part of the magic curriculum, which means he's about to become Aster's teacher. But Aster doesn't seem to like his style very much. Before long, Jera announces that the enrollment ceremony has concluded successfully, and at this moment, Damien is still drooling, looking at him, unable to wake him no matter how much he's shaken. Aster decides to tease him a bit. Wake up! You've been expelled for sleeping during the enrollment ceremony. Let's go home. Hearing about being expelled, Damien's face turns pale with fright. Aster didn't expect he could be scared like this. After finally calling calming him down, Aster prepares to return to his dormitory. As soon as he opens the dormitory environment amazes him. Not only is the space spacious, but the decor style is also unique, and everyone's setup is the same. Soon, Aster puts away his things. But just then, someone enters. The person who enters is Aster's roommate, none other than Paul, who just took the pledge on stage, but his appearance gives off an unfriendly vibe. Sure enough, as soon as he enters, he says that from now on, everyone should coexist peacefully and not interfere with each other's lives. Aster doesn't respond, so he continues pressing. Little does he know, Aster is already eager to test his skills. Seeing Aster charging forward with his body lowered, Paul also assumes a sword-drawing stance. But with just one movement, Aster discovers that the person before him is no simple opponent. He actually managed to make a sword-drawing motion in an extremely short time and adjusted the sword to the optimal angle, so that when drawn, it won't touch anything around. Just as both sides are about to clash, Damien's shout comes from the distance. Aster is helpless. He just came from there moments ago. There's no choice. Aster's plan falls through. He pats Paul on the shoulder. Let's do it your way then. After speaking, he goes outside the dormitory. Damien invites him to familiarize themselves with the campus. This was Lancey's instruction, saying that the academy has many iconic buildings, so they must go see them. Zeny Academy is huge. Lancey specifically instructed this to prevent them from getting lost in the academy, intending for them to familiarize themselves with the academy's layout. Aster also thinks this kills two birds with one stone, as he has some things to confirm as well. It turns out he vaguely senses there are quite a few troubleshooters in the academy. He needs to figure out exactly how many, so they appreciate the academy's scenery, while familiarizing themselves with the academy's structure. Soon they arrive at an artificial lake. Damien really likes it. Aster is speechless. He really likes everything he sees, so he suggests going back and having Lancey make one for him too. After hearing this, Damien immediately agrees. At this moment, Lancey sneezes heavily. When Damien asks what name to give the lake, Aster's answer makes Lancey, far away, feel a chill down her spine. He says it could be named Blood, Sweat, and Tears. Then they come to a statue. Without a doubt, Damien says he really likes it again. He wants Lancey to make him a flying dragon statue when he gets back. Lancey, far away at home, instantly feels a sense of foreboding. After wandering for most of the day, the two finally finish touring the campus. During this process, Aster discovers 7 troubleshooters. Adding some uncertain ones, the number is roughly around 10. Moreover, based on their distribution, their central point should be the second magic hall. The second magic hall is precisely the building where Professor Perrin's laboratory is located. From this, it's clear their target is Professor Perrin. Declan must have already realized that Hinz has help. That's why they suspect Professor Perrin, who has connections with him. But Aster is puzzled. Why are they reluctant to make a move? Are they waiting for the right moment? So he decides to investigate the magic hall tonight. Soon, night falls. 2 troubleshooters gather here. They receive notification from above that tonight they need to gather at the secondary target's location. They've categorized the targets into tiers. Hinz is the primary target, Perrin is the secondary target. It turns out they received information that Hinz exposed Perrin's identity, so tonight's target to deal with is Perrin. But soon he realizes something's wrong. They simply can't handle this magic professor. Troubleshooter number 1 isn't available, and other top-ranked ones are nowhere to be found. Are they supposed to go die for nothing? Just as he's at a loss. The other person says Callahan will come. Hearing that Callahan is coming, he's immediately astonished. That's the fire demon called Crimson Emerald. As the deputy commander of the Declan Mage Corps, he's taking action personally. That means the danger level of this mission is at maximum. Seeing him somewhat panicked, the other person says things may not necessarily escalate into a fierce battle. We should be brave and united. Let's go. This will be our glory. With that, they leap out through the window. What they don't know is that Aster has been watching everything. Having lived a second life, he naturally knows who Callahan is. Callahan was someone who had enjoyed his peak. After the Declan family risked everything to battle the Brando family, to prove his loyalty, he chose to stay with the declining family. This man is dangerous. After his battle with the Brandos, his fire demon became unstoppable. He's someone who left his mark on history as a battle mage. Moreover, Aster himself must capture him, because he wants Callahan's magic, one of the Declan family's fire secret arts. And as one of the continent's most renowned mages, he believes it's worth the risk. But what puzzles him is that the target they mentioned, Hinz's report, is right now on him, and his copy can't possibly be fake. So why are they going after Professor Perrin? Could it be that the report being delivered tonight is a fake? At midnight, Paul puts on his stealth outfit. He takes his weapons. As he passes by Aster's bed, he glances at him with a speechless look. Little does he know, Aster is only pretending to sleep. Meanwhile, Professor Perrin sits with his eyes closed, deep in thought. He can't understand why those Declan rats, who always act cautiously, would make such a big commotion this time. What are they trying to do? Just as he's completely puzzled, the office door opens. A fully armed figure in black walks in. Perrin thinks it's a mercenary. Only when the figure removes the hood does he realize it's Paul. So he reminds him, next time you want to disguise yourself, learn to conceal your presence first. That's the basic principle of covert operations. Paul doesn't respond. He simply hands him a letter. He opens the envelope and discovers it's a letter from Hinz. He can't understand why Hinz, knowing he's under suspicion, would send a letter at this time. Isn't that walking into a trap? But then he reconsiders. That cunning guy wouldn't be so stupid. Before he can think further, the table beside him explodes. When he comes to his senses, he realizes Callahan has arrived. Both immediately enter combat mode. At the same time, Callahan is also surprised. There's actually an extra person here, but it doesn't matter. They're all going to die anyway. With that, a flame formation appears at Callahan's fingertips. Seeing this, Perrin also summons an ice formation. The instant they collide, an explosion occurs. Perrin's ice instantly melts into water droplets. He signals to Paul to protect himself. From now on, he'll focus entirely on the battle with no time to look after him. Paul nods, indicating he can handle it. Perrin understands that with such a huge commotion and the security system not triggering, Callahan must have set up a barrier. So now it's one-on-one. Callahan also enters serious mode. His entire body becomes wrapped in flames. Perrin also summons ice pillars all over the ground. Both are gathering their power. The next second, a massive explosion erupts on the laboratory roof. Arriving late, Aster can only watch from a distance. He didn't expect everything to happen so quickly. He puts on his mask. It's been a long time since he's felt this way. So now, Aster, troubleshooter number 1, is about to make his entrance. Under the bright moonlight, Aster clasps his hands tightly. He prays to the moon god. In this life, he will become an upright troubleshooter. Even though he's never been upright before, he still resolutely chooses to move forward. Meanwhile, this place has already been destroyed beyond recognition. Callahan releases his flame spells with a look of pure enjoyment. He never expected that Paul could survive the powerful shockwaves from their attacks. It turns out Paul is wearing a protective charm his captain gave him. It's an artifact with defensive capabilities. Just as he feels lucky about this, Professor Perrin shouts for him to move aside. Callahan and Professor Perrin clash again. The two are evenly matched. The violent collision of their skills makes the surrounding air feel suffocating. After a wave of attacks, Professor Perrin praises Paul's combat level. He didn't expect a mercenary's battle quality to be so outstanding that he doesn't need to worry about protecting him at all. With that, he enchants Paul's sword. Paul has never seen this kind of operation before. Out of concern, Perrin asks him if he can control the enchanted sword. Paul responds that now isn't the time to worry about whether he can control it. If he can't control it, he'll die here anyway. With that, he signals Perrin to attach as much magic to the blade as possible. Facing the two of them, Callahan shows no fear. He raises his hand and launches a fireball. Paul reacts quickly, using his newly enchanted sword to block. Perrin remains calm. He knows his guards have all been taken out. If this drags on, his situation will only get worse. Watching the increasingly frenzied Callahan, he decides to go all out. When the total amount of mana distributed in nature is limited, if multiple entities issue commands, a struggle for control will unfold between these entities. So next, it's about who can absorb more. Seeing their formation, Callahan also realizes they're going for a final desperate strike. He descends into complete madness. His body surges with energy, lightning crackling around him. Both sides engage in another skill showdown. The clash of power forms an energy sphere around them as countless mana converges toward the center. The next second, the saturated energy sphere erupts in a massive explosion. The force of the explosion sends Paul flying. He never expected these two to fight so fiercely. This isn't a level he can intervene in at all. From afar, he watches the two continue their magical duel. Each of them is a monster. Even though he's anxious, trying to jump in and help would be nothing but a pipe dream. Their continuous spell casting creates a massive tornado above the rooftop. Those outside can't help but marvel at how brutal it is. None of them dare to act rashly, because at this level of combat, going in would be suicide. But just then, a figure flies past them. The speed is so fast they can't make out who it is. The person is none other than Aster. He's anxious, afraid he's arrived too late. Fortunately, he arrives just in time while the two are locked in fierce combat, and his appearance shocks both combatants. Aster's eyes are resolute. Now it's my turn to enter the stage. This sudden development leaves Callahan utterly confused. You must be joking. He never expected someone outside the plan to appear, but Aster doesn't care about any of that. He seizes Callahan mid-casting. This place will become your grave. Callahan never expected that these cold words, which he usually says himself, would be used on him today, forcibly interrupted from his spell casting. He's sent flying by the explosion's shockwave, finally coming to a stop. He keeps coughing up blood. Looking at the masked youth in the smoke, Callahan knows he's about to lose. He curses while coughing up blood. Damn it! But he doesn't want to give up. He pulls out a potion and gulps it down. He doesn't care where this masked guy came from, but he must die today. While he's downing the potion, Aster isn't idle either. He leaps into the air. With precise magical control, he quickly takes out the assassins on the perimeter. Seeing this, Callahan is stunned. He can't believe that this uninvited guest's every movement is precise, with no wasted motion, achieving ultimate efficiency. And more importantly, his magic has achieved perfect optimization in terms of speed. This time he's truly shocked. But this also makes him understand one thing. This guy absolutely cannot be left alive. In fury, he releases a massive flame. Facing the sudden attack, Aster seemingly can't dodge in time. An explosion sounds. The massive flame completely engulfs Aster. Callahan also coughs up blood from overexertion. Did I get him? Other troubleshooters now appear in the air. In the past, the prideful Callahan wouldn't have wanted to cooperate with them at all, because he always believed that for things one person can accomplish, others would only be a burden. But now it's different. His body is severely overextended, able to rely only on potions for support, and there's still Professor Perrin to deal with. He has no choice but to accept cooperating with the troubleshooters. But just as he finishes the potion, a familiar voice sounds behind him. Is this all you've got? Callahan, on the surface you look like a deranged madman, but deep down you're cold and ruthless, like a venomous snake. You planned to have those troubleshooters stall me, but you overestimated them. Your foolish actions are exactly what led to your failure. Aster finishes speaking and makes a gun gesture. An energy formation slowly appears at his fingertips, fingertip. Then a rapid energy beam suddenly shoots from his hand. Faced with the energy attack that arrives in an instant, Callahan has no way to react. He can only let the beam pierce through his skull. And just like that, a generation of battle mages comes to an end. Aster lands gently. Looking at the fallen Callahan, he can't help but sigh. Truly worthy of being a renowned battle mage. Any other mage would have been taken down by that sudden attack, but he not only dodged it but also counterattacked. His reaction and judgment were incredibly swift. It's a shame he was too arrogant. If he had joined the troubleshooters, I wouldn't have been able to defeat him. After all, my mana hasn't yet reached the level to handle a war of attrition. Lost in thought, he walks toward Callahan's corpse. He crouches down and searches through Callahan's pockets. Before long, he finds Callahan's spatial storage pouch. Most battle mages don't trust anyone, so they always carry their secret spells with them, and each spatial storage pouch has a basic ownership identification spell on it, something like modern facial recognition. But he doesn't have time to crack it now. He can only take it back and study it slowly. Just as he puts away the pouch, Professor Perrin arrives from behind. Those rats were a bit clingy, but aren't you a rat too? Hearing this, Aster laughs heartily. He thinks Paul and Professor Perrin, one a lunatic and the other a battle maniac, have no right to talk about him. After hearing this, Professor Perrin lowers his guard. He figures if Aster can call someone else a lunatic, he must be the person Hin sent. Aster didn't expect him to trust him based on just this alone. Although he believes his identity, Professor Perrin still doesn't understand one thing. What's Paul's identity? And the thesis he delivered? Was the thesis split into two parts? Aster indicates he doesn't know about this. Perhaps that thesis was a fake. Hearing this, he finally understands. This was Hins's baiting scheme. Hins knew they suspected him, so he entered the game himself, using a fake thesis to lure the rats out. It seems he wants to strengthen Hassan City and the Academy's defenses to reduce the Declan family's infiltration. Thinking of this, he suddenly realizes that the Empire's guard knights, who should have arrived long ago, still haven't appeared. Although the troubleshooters released a barrier spell, the scale of the battle just now was quite large. The barrier couldn't have been completely airtight. It seems the Declan family has planted a mole among the Empire's knights. Thinking this, Aster says nothing and simply hands over the thesis. Professor Perrin opens it and looks through it. After confirming it's real, he asks Aster, "Did you peek at what's inside?" Aster is a bit speechless. "Do you think I should have?" After hearing this, Perrin says coldly, "Understood. If you have a problem with me, I don't mind another fight." Perrin seems to smell tension. He puts away the thesis. "I don't want to lose an ally, so let's end this here." Then he asks Aster if there's anything he wants. Aster doesn't understand. Perrin seems to see Aster's confusion and explains, "That guy Hins only trusts one type of person, those who share his own aspirations. So, to build trust, I need to give you something." After hearing this, Aster thinks for a moment. He wants a book. A book? Perrin doesn't understand. Then Aster tells Perrin about his wish. He wants to build a massive library and fill it with any book. He wants Perrin to write a book about his insights on magic. After hearing this, Perrin scratches the back of his head. He finds this quite interesting. Although he thinks no one can understand the books he writes, he still agrees to Aster's request. As he's about to leave, Perrin asks Aster for his contact information. But Aster jokes that he doesn't like men and doesn't want to give his contact. Perrin quickly explains it's for convenience in submitting the next thesis. Hearing this, Aster takes out a string of beads. This is a communication crystal. They're connected to each other. If one breaks, the other will break too. Break one if you need to meet. If there's trouble, break two or more, then I won't show up. With that, Aster leaves. Perrin is a bit annoyed. Do I look like someone who likes men? Before long, the Empire's knights finally arrive. They quickly secure the scene. They begin clearing the battlefield and treating the wounded. For safety, they also evacuate students living nearby overnight. Aster and Damien are among them. On the way, Damien says he hasn't seen Aster in a while and asks what he's been busy with. Aster jokes that he's been busy with a big plan. After saying this, he falls into thought. Callahan and the troubleshooters lurking in the academy have all been dealt with. The evidence is clear, so the Declan family will remain quiet for a while, but he can't understand why there was such a reaction in the last battle. But when he blocked Callahan's spell, his energy infused into his force field. Thanks to this, he successfully blocked the counterattack, so it wasn't a bad thing. But it didn't seem like the force field became stronger. It was more like a rejection reaction. This is a technique used by elemental mages, a skill that keeps the caster from being harmed. Just like Callahan, he kept releasing fire magic but wasn't hurt at all. Perhaps because he's too absorbed in thought, Aster blurts out, "I don't understand why there was such a reaction. What are the activation conditions? Looks like I need to research this more." So he decides to check the library. Just like that, they soon arrive at the continent's largest library. Just as Aster is about to enter, he suddenly realizes someone is calling him from behind. He turns around. A youth with freckles on his face is greeting him. "Hello, my name is Chen Bi. Nice to meet you." "Aster, you're really a strong warrior." Hearing this, Aster's heart skips a beat. "You saw me fight? Has my identity been exposed?" Seeing Aster remain silent, Chen Bi continues his flattery. It turns out he noticed Aster at the opening ceremony. He thinks it's really cool that a freshman could defeat that martial arts club member, and such a big incident left no disciplinary record, which makes him admire Aster. After hearing this, Aster laughs awkwardly, thinking this doesn't seem like a good thing. But Chen Bai keeps following him and chattering away, making him a bit impatient. Chen Bai also seems to realize it's getting awkward, so he speaks up, saying he's also a freshman. "Because it's a bit hard to fit into the new environment. I also want to find a close friend." Aster understands this feeling well. After all, he also came from the slums. Although the academy promises equal treatment regardless of status, that's only from the academy's perspective, not the student's viewpoint. For someone from a poor family like him, going out to find companions is perfectly normal. Perhaps because he empathizes, Aster agrees to let him tag along. Hearing this, Chenbi can't stop smiling. He didn't have much hope to begin with. He didn't expect Aster to be unexpectedly easy to talk to. Just like that, they talk a lot along the way. This kind of cheerful chatting, Aster can't remember how long it's been since he last had this. Perhaps this is what normal conversation is supposed to be like. You can't blame him. After all, everyone he's met has been one of this world's oddballs. But now his academy life is truly beginning. Early the next morning, the classroom is already full. Damien is yawning as usual. He becomes listless when class time arrives. Soon Chenbai also arrives at the classroom right as the bell rings. As soon as he sits down, he starts complaining. Such a big thing happened yesterday, and we still have class today. Seeing this reaction, Aster determines Chenbai's background isn't wealthy, but also not too poor. After all, with such a huge commotion yesterday, he showed no fear and instead seemed quite relaxed. He thinks Chenbai should be a pretty good friend. Then they start discussing their homeroom teacher. But speak of the devil, Chenbai barely starts speaking when the homeroom teacher walks up to the podium. Aster recognizes her too. She's the formidable female professor who took over hosting the ceremony from the principal at the opening. After a brief self-introduction, she reassures the students about last night's incident. Then she announces they'll conduct a mana test on the class. Before the test, she poses a question. Which is more important, the quality or quantity of mana? As soon as the question is asked, someone raises their hand. The person who raises her hand is a big-eyed, short-haired girl named Arzon. She indicates she doesn't have a definitive answer. She thinks that if a certain level of mana can be guaranteed, then quality becomes more important. For example, when you battle mages of the same level, the one with higher mana has the advantage. But mana quality affects accuracy, stability, and your magic's power. Even if you have a lot of mana, if you can't hit the target, that mana is useless. Arzon's analysis is articulate and logical, but she still doesn't get the professor's approval. This leaves her somewhat confused. Although she didn't get approval, the professor still thinks her understanding is quite thorough. So she asks Arzon where she's from. Upon learning it's the Marcus family, the professor shows an intriguing expression. This frightens Arzon quite a bit. She doesn't know what she said wrong. Then the professor asks if anyone else wants to answer. But after scanning the room, no one raises their hand. With no choice, she randomly selects a student to answer. The selected student is so nervous he's sweating profusely. He stammers that mana quantity is more important because in large-scale battles, mana is the guarantee for casting skills. In fact, he's not wrong. On large battlefields, mana quantity might be more important than quality. Overall, depending on certain factors, both quantity and quality are crucial. But this answer doesn't satisfy the professor. Then she asks other students. But no one's answer is what she wants. The classroom instantly turns into a discussion session. Aster also doesn't understand what the professor is doing. Arzon also starts crying from the earlier rejection. At this moment, the professor speaks. Actually, all your answers are very close. But there was never a correct answer to begin with. So the answer I wanted wasn't the correct answer either. Think carefully about the answers you gave me. Do your answers align with your own thoughts? Or did you think of what I wanted to hear? A true mage must never lose their subjectivity at any time. They cannot be swayed by others and must be able to act completely according to their own will. So what about you? You were all just guessing the answer I wanted. This is not the mindset a mage should have. From now on, you must change this way of thinking and become true mages. This is the content of this lesson. I hope you all take it to heart. After she finishes, the classroom falls into pin-drop silence. Aster also breathes a sigh of relief, grateful in his heart that he's always held firm to his original views. Next, the professor begins selecting class officers. Arzon, who's still crying, is selected as class president. Her initial answer let the professor see her meticulous way of thinking. The professor asks her to help record the classmates' mana levels. She walks down with cheerful steps. Even the passing breeze can feel her happiness. Seeing this, the two of us each have different expressions, one jealous and one speechless. Without much more to say, the professor has her assistant bring up the measuring device. As soon as the canvas is removed, a transparent, luminous magic sensing orb lights up. This is a rare device for measuring mana. I heard the academy had great difficulty acquiring it back then. Now begin measuring your own mana. Let's see who will stand out. But just as her words fall, everyone is startled by the sudden bright light from the magic orb. This means the magic orb has sensed a monster-like presence among the crowd. But no one expected that the mark above the light would come from him.